Let's crack on then, shall we? In this new part of the show, the Bondia Daily, 20 minutes of news, weather, language, culture, and well-being. And it might spill a little bit into the second 20 minutes. Maybe we'll just go half as fast this morning as we make our way easily and pleasantly into the weekend. The bon fin semana. Pete's in. João Ernesto do Norte. Bom dia, Portugal. Yeah, must play your videos. That's unfortunate, John. There was a time when you were wondering what to do with all the fry, all the fish in your garden pond, wasn't there? And that was taken care of by nature, as it turns out. So I hope it's okay with you for me to share the video of the visitor to your garden a little bit later on. We'll do that in the second 20-minute segment. Jackie's in, as is Mike. How you doing, guys? And Coach Turner with the Bondia Campus. Let's put the sex into sexta-feira. A video from the coach as well. This week seems to have flown by. Wet and windy here north of London, but seriously stormy in Scotland and with Deagle. And I saw Portugal mentioned on British news last night as being very windy. It's so changeable as well. That's the funny thing. We seem to be we're into the second storm of the week, and then suddenly the sun is shining bright like a summer day. It's so changeable, isn't it? Sign of the times, perhaps. Pete with a simple bon dia. Oh, Diane helped to find Portugal due to the fact she used to be a medium. Is there a joke? Oh, now she's a small. I knew it. I just knew it. Thank you, Pete. And do you know what? I know what happened in his mind there. He was thinking, and now she's a large. He was going to say that, and he thought, oh no, she'll kill me if I say that. So he changed it at the last minute to now she is a small. Very good. Thank you very much indeed. Right, let's have a look at some interesting news. Some good news, which is good news and bad news. Picking up on the theme that the Portuguese he was early to this. He was early to the party on the 100% tax. And you as well, Pete, you mentioned it, didn't you? We'll have a look into that because I think that's good news and bad news for obvious reasons. And then some good news if you're a rock and roll fan. All right. If you like a certain band with a combined age of 2027, they're coming back to Portugal after, I think, an 11-year absence. Let's do those. Let's look at visitors to ponds and Coach Turner's new video in our well-being section as well. But before we go there, and the weather, of course, let's take a look at the weather, see if there's any changes planned in the weather forecast. Let's have a look at this news then. And I'm going to go to the Portugal news this morning for this particular coverage, which I think disappeared. Now, as we alluded to yesterday with Heather, it's for us Portugal Pollyannas, or who lean in that direction, who accentuate the positive. It's kind of awkward when these sort of stories come up. But, I don't mind having a chat about them, reframing them, putting them into perspective. We're not going to go too gloom and doom. And of course, the good news straight away is this is 100% tax for foreign buyers in Portugal. That's probably not you if you're watching this right now. It might be you if you're watching later, as people do, it's more the people who are moving to Portugal and thinking about it that are watching this program later than those who are watching in the morning and who are already here, residents of Portugal, for whom this tax will not apply, of course. So that's great news, is it not? Although you may be thinking, Portugal, that's not such a great idea in terms of public perception around the world. Let's find out what they're talking about anyway. Oh, yes, Portugal news. You haven't failed me. 19 comments. I can't wait to get to those, the comments in the Portugal news. A Portuguese movement. Who doesn't like a Portuguese movement first thing in the morning? I know I do. More fibre nurse. Wants the government to tax up to 100%. Oh, up to, there you go, small print, on real estate bought by non-residents from countries outside the European Union to be the same as the rules in Spain. And of course, they can't do that to other people in Europe, can they? I'm guessing, because of the European Union. The whole idea of, the clue is in union, isn't it? The movement Porta a Porta. Now, I must find out more about them, so I'm going to open that in a new tab. Advised the government, they've been whispering the government's ear, to adopt a similar measure to the one. Now, it says here, approved in Spain. Now, that's news to me. I didn't know it had been approved in Spain to help solve the housing crisis issues. Now, will it do that? Would it do that? The measure approved in Spain has led to the taxation. Has anyone been taxed 100% yet? will lead, possibly, has led on the value of a purchased house by non-residents from the countries outside the EU. The measure was announced by the Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez, and it is part of a pack of 12. Ooh, he's optimistic. He's got a pack of 12, everybody. Pack of 12 initiatives aiming to make housing more affordable for Spanish citizens. Okay, so that's the idea, presumably, then, is to stop other people buying houses such that Spanish citizens can. And if they do buy them, the 100% tax is then reinvested into public housing. Not probably. Anyway, don't be cynical, Carl. The pack also includes measures. I've got a vision of him in a spaghetti western, Pedro Sanchez, with a big cowboy hat on. He's got like a hand of 12 cool cards that are going to change the housing situation in Spain. The pack also includes measures that benefit landlords who sign long-term renting contracts and hold that's good. And hold strict measures to those who sign short-term renting contracts, turfing people out after they've just got comfortable. And it's different, isn't it? When you live in a rental culture, I think it's fair to say Spain and Portugal are more rental cultures, or have traditionally been, until everyone got Brassic. Of rental cultures rather than purchase cultures. So yeah, if you've got a rental culture and you haven't got long-term tenure, that's a bit awkward. The group Porta a Porta is formed by people from various age groups from the whole Portuguese territory who share the struggles of maintaining a proper house, whether due to high rent prices or because of the increase of the taxes that are paid when a house is bought. Porta a Porta has already organised demonstrations throughout the country to call to the attention of governors to provide proper housing measures to Portuguese citizens. Currently, the movement has available a petition for people to sign, and the petition link is there, supporting the group's principles that everyone deserves a house. Well, I don't think anyone's going to argue with that, as described in the 65th article of the Portuguese Constitution. Did you know that we have a constitutional article, 65, that outlines that everyone should have a house here in Portugal? The Portuguese call-out spokesman for Porta a Porta, André Escoval, stated that Portugal should adopt similar initiatives, defending that relying on market dynamics did not solve the housing crisis being felt in the country. In the same statement, Escoval mentioned that the housing crisis in Portugal has gradually increased. Well, apologies to the Portugueser for being all over this and me accusing him of making a clickbaity video. If you're watching, I do apologize. I come to you cap in hand, Portugueser. Right, this is always the interesting bit in the Portugal news. Can we not have comments, please, at the Portugal resident? This measure is not the solution to the housing problem, says AB in the Algarve. As I suspected somebody might say, and I have an inkling myself, that this alone would not solve the situation. The cost of building materials globally is a major factor. Yeah, and especially the cost here in Portugal. It doesn't help. It doesn't make it attractive to developers. We've talked to Bobby about this before, haven't we? Bobby O'Reilly. Furthermore, there are many people who have gotten mortgages in the last 5 years. If we devalue houses and properties in general alike, it will result in people potentially walking away from mortgages. That's a shot in the foot, isn't it? I would, on the other hand, James in the Algarve would put 100% tax on second Portuguese property owned by non-EU residents. That way, it will filter out the landlords that are price gouge using Airbnb. Yes, second homes. That seems a bit fairer, does it not? Purchase thereof. A populist foreigner bashing that will punish the few and benefit none is what Mark Holden thinks. Gary Bickley, please do your homework. The 100% tax is an idea in Spain. It's not even been put in front of the parliament to approve it. Yes. So that did concern me, saying that it had been approved. It's being talked about. It's a political football still, as so many things are. This is a brilliant idea. Inverted commas, socialist and communist solutions have really benefited the populations around the world. You can tell where Marty stands on the political spectrum there. I agree. This isn't the solution. The government should put a cap in how many houses foreigners in the EU can buy, since there is people that buy more than one house and many of them are empty all year around. Only the gardens and cleaners plus the tradesmen that go there, do their jobs, and they've never lived in them. Right. Yep, that's a fair point from Isabel Oliveira. Nuno F from Lisbon. This will show whom the government serves, and most of us already know the outcome. Also, non-individuals have no place owning homes. Oh, I see. That's funds buying houses rather than individuals. Yeah, that's an interesting point. Nunu F as well. There are older empty houses everywhere if you look, but the Portuguese don't want to live in them. Well, it might be a bit more complicated than that, David S., but there are certainly a lot of empty houses around. Cesar Penafiel from the USA, instead of trying to follow Spain's model, which is certain to fail, and is there any guarantee that you won't get squirted by a water pistol, even if you have paid 100% tax? I think not. Who wants to go and live in a country with that sort of hostility? They don't know if you're sat outside a restaurant in Barcelona, if you paid 100% tax or not, and paid your dues, as it were, if this does come about, and then squirt you with a water pistol as well. Pa! No. Stick to Portugal, friends. I won't read all the comments, but you get the gist there. So, not a problem for you if you're already a resident here in Portugal. Possibly, if you are not already, and if you're thinking of moving here, let's chat with Colleen Showalter a little bit later on about her methods for moving you here, including tuning in to your place here in Portugal. So what do you think of that, folks? Let's see. PT Country Bear. These articles are like a game of telephone. What's that mean? The 100% tax measure has not been approved. Exactly. I think you're right. The English news is often false. There are substantial legal questions as to its enforceability. Well said. But that's what I read, what it said in the Portugal news there. They are talking about it being approved. It's not helping, is it? Is it? It's bucketing down here. That's not a fiscal or taxation comment, although it could also be true, I suspect, says Jackie. Peeing down. Carl, isn't a 100% tax on second homes? No, I think it's the first time for foreigners, or some of them anyway. It hasn't been approved yet. Thank you, Coach Turner. If you want to write a comment, if you want to flame up the old Portugal news for saying that it's been approved, excuse me a minute. Tickly throat. I've been doing a lot of talking. Well, I normally do, don't I? But I've been doing a special lot of talking in the last 24 hours. Last night, we had the 5 property hotspots in Portugal. Buy them quick before there's 100% tax on them. That was brilliant with... I've just forgot his name. Oh, my goodness. Peter, of course. Peter von Noonan of the Portugal company. And also coming up next week, tax efficient tips. Just so you know, in just under a week, 7:30 Lisbon time, tax efficient tips and financial planning for expats in Portugal. I should be hosting that webinar and the town hall thereafter. I could be coming back to the town hall and the controversy around eating pastel de natas with a spoon in a little while. At first, I was afraid. I was petrified. No, at first I was disgusted, and then I was hugely surprised when I put this conundrum to the town hall team last night. You shall too see the results about what they had to say when I put that to them. Anyway, Bond here from a windy, shut down Edinburgh. You're in Edinburgh. Even Tesco closed for the wind. We'll see how it compares to Colorado. Wow, cheers, Bob. You're over in Edinburgh and you sent pictures of the current storm being endured in Scotland over there. That's wild. Oh, Edinburgh at night as well. That's nice. I will come back to the 100% tax thing in just a moment. Oh, Viv, you found yourself a Portuguese cockerel in Edinburgh by the look of it. That's fantastic. Okay, and is that you found a Portuguese restaurant or cafe? Well done, you two. Excellent stuff. Thank you very much. Oh, James, I think he's still snoozing, the old guy in Europe, but he has a new video out today, of course, it being Friday, a typical day for an old guy in Europe. Check it out on YouTube. Right, back to your comments about this 100% tax then, and your comments coming in, as you might expect. I think you'll be commenting on my next item as well. It could be bad news for those that would eventually like to sell, as you're limiting the market, but just like Trump and Sanch, hold on a minute. Oh, government incompetence and lack of that was kind of awkward, that shoehorning in there, Pete. Anyway, government incompetence. You show me a government that is not suffering from that in the world right now, my friend. And lack of effort guarantee that it will never happen. Anyone remember a wall? Amazing, Pete, how you're how you're managing to show your disdain, co-opting co-opting a European story to do a bit of US bashing there. Bon dia, Carl and Gumpers, from a huge storm. It might be a huge storm. Battering Ireland and then Scotland. Country closed down like it's Christmas. COVID lockdown feeling. That's amazing. A fresh 3 degrees at present and -1 overnight. The James is here, everybody. Who started that rumor that he was still snoozing and drooling in bed? Might have been me. Bon dia de Espinho. Oh, he's in Espinho. Wow. Gumpers, good luck up there, James. Feliz sexta a todos. Como estão? He's up and about, and he's in up north as well in the country, putting the sex into sexta-feira up there in Espinho. Good luck, mate. Fingers crossed for you up there. Yeah, game of telephone. I've not heard that reference. A game of telephone. What, you just dialing any old any old numbers. Good morning, everyone from Gemini. How are you doing, Gemini? Love to see you here this morning. Thanks, Ian. Lots of power outages across Northern Ireland and in the Republic. Half without power. That's incredible. Even when high red winds ease, the amber winds will be too dangerous to try and repair the damaged systems due to flying debris. My God. One possible problem with this talk of tax changes is that sometimes the results become retroactive. No! Oh, dear. Gemini, I got friends who have beautiful homes in Spain and also Portugal, but they love Spain, the Brits. Oh, yeah, the Brits do love Spain, but for how much longer, we don't know. If 100% tax is going to happen, it might be time to look into America. I don't think that's such a crazy idea, actually. I know a few Americans aren't too keen on the idea, and there's quite the turmoil going on at the moment. But I love visiting America. And I know if you grow up somewhere, so, I have the same thing with the UK. I don't feel like I ever want to go back to the UK. And when I've been to, my memory of America, of the United States, is that it would be an amazing place to live if you could find your little place out back somewhere. So there you go. Maybe that's going to be a thing soon. Bon dia! Morning greetings from a moist and groovy. An upgrade in Villanova to Cerveira this morning. Not only moist in the Minho, but a groovy Minho too. Wishing you all a happy Friday and a wonderful weekend. Thank you very much. Bit of Tony time from the man in the Minho there. Oh, Deagle, let's cross our fingers for Deagle as well. Power flickering. Think we will lose power soon in Belfast. Well, you take care there, Deagle. I hope you've got your candles ready. And you've filled up the bath up with water and done all those prepper type things. Bon dia, alegria, Gumpers. It's a busy day today, by the sound of it, for T-Duck. And we found Portugal when we arrived. That's interesting, isn't it? A Lagos man driving our taxi. Great conversation. Nando's for dinner with the... Oh, I see. You're not talking about when you came to Portugal, the intuitive process. You're talking about how Portugal leapt out to you, found Portugal up in Edinburgh. Lagos taxi driver in Edinburgh. Great conversation. Nando's for dinner with the wind forecast. Even Tesco is closed today. That's amazing. Yes, I love Mount Airy in Maryland. I love driving the tractor and doing stuff on the farm. Gemini, I had you down as British. Are you American? The game of telephone. A group of people sit in a circle. Okay. This used to be Chinese whispers until presumably that was thought of as racist. A group of people sat in a circle and someone whispers a phrase into the ear of the first person. The person whispers the phrase into the ear of the person next to them. And the game of telephone. There you go. It is Chinese whispers as the racist Brits would have it. Except when it's a group of Chinese people playing it, and then it's just whispers, of course. Bondi, the great story. Well, it's a sad story, really, but it comes from the illustration of telephone Chinese whispers, whatever you might want to call it. Was by the time the message "send reinforcements, we're going to advance." I think this is a wartime. Is the word apocryphal? Well, we don't know if it's true, but it kind of makes the point anyway. Pete will know. Pete will know who said this and when. We send reinforcements, we're going to advance. Got changed by the time it got to its destination to send 3 and 4 pence, we're going to a dance. And you can imagine the generals back in the bunker. What? Send 3 and 4 pence, we're going to a dance. Those men have gone completely mad. Shoot them all. Bon dia. It's been a while since I jumped in. Vicky, you're most welcome jumping in this morning. Viana do Castelo is a perfect new home for us. Great to hear that. Tax changes are just another point in the pendulum swing. That's an interesting way of looking at it. Change is inevitable, good or bad. You're bringing a Zen stoicism, which is a mixed metaphor, I know, but it kind of makes the point, doesn't it? Very good, Vicky. Thank you. I'm British, and British as it comes. Oh, wow. What does that mean? Never change, cousin out there. What? So very British there, Gemini Bradshaw. Yes, thank you very much, Gemini, for being with us this morning. Thank you very much. Probably wearing a bowler hat, strolling down the street with a briefcase and brolly in hand. When the last person has, oh, okay, I think we've done that, James, but thank you. When the last person has the phrase whispered in their ear they heard is normally totally different. Yeah, absolutely. I find that it's like that with myself, let alone with a group of people. Something I'm thinking in the morning is entirely different by the time that's if I can remember it. If I can remember it, it's usually changed by the evening. Thank you very much. Let's move on. It's already 22 minutes past. Let's do a bit of weather. Then I've got some culture. I've got the well-being video from the coach. Right. Okay. Get your greetings in. Tell me what you're doing for the weekend as well, and let's ease our way into that bon fin de semana, shall we? And oh, he's slightly longer than he intended, as the actress said to the bishop. But we will be playing Coach Turner's video as well, as part of the well-being coverage of the Bon Dia Daily. Just to conclude on this first 20 minutes, though, let me just have a look at the weather. Should we go to IPMA for the weather today and see what warnings might be in place here in Portugal? That might be a bit more useful, might it not, here in Portugal? And what I'm seeing, the reason why I'm not seeing any yellow or orange is because I'm looking at the danger of rural fires at the moment. That's an old screen on there, and thankfully, obviously, with the weather the way it is, there are no concerns about rural fires at the moment. However, there's also the bivalve information. We haven't looked at that for a little while. On the coast, they give you a bivalve update, which is extraordinary, is it not? And I'm trying to find the straightforward. Am I looking at climate? It's very complicated. I'll tell you, I'm going to show you how complicated it is over at IPMA. But if you are looking for comprehensive weather information, you might want to do this. You might want to go to ipma.pt, which I shall bring onto the screen for you now. There you go. That's not especially helpful. If I go back to the homepage, you'll see all the sorts of information that is given to you there. And I'm seeing with the weather warnings, as you can see in over towards the middle and left there, the coast and the northern coast, especially with a yellow at the moment, and inland and down in the Algarve, without warning actually at the moment. But warnings are coming down from Viana do Castelo, where you are, Vicky, all the way down to just north of me here on the coast, I would say. Leiria is under warning, as is Lisboa. It's Lashboa with the winds at the moment. Lashboa. It's a kind of British headline, that, isn't it? Agitação Maritima, so marine agitation. That's a warning until tomorrow. Okay, so there you go. And the weather, 15 degrees and cloudy up in Viana do Castelo, and combing down to the Algarve, where we've got 16 in Sagres, the high, 17 over in Faro. So great. So climatological, all kinds. It's a very diverse report when you go over to IPMA, and I will put the link to that in the chat for you right now. Okay, let's do that. Let's go to a few more of your comments. We'll talk about the Rolling Stones rolling back into Lisboa, playing at the Benfica Stadium, I think, as well, which will make it very difficult, I think, for sporting fans to